Hello everybody. This week we discuss about the fallout of the pandemic on the Indian diaspora in the Gulf. This group of people, the non-residents in the Gulf, have been most supportive of the Indian economy, whether it be the remittances that come forth or any call made from India for support have always met with considerable acceptance from this group. However, the Gulf economies are at a tipping point now, and this is affecting the expatriates in the Gulf. Economies there are expected to contract at about 1.7% in 2020. I would consider this to be a lower estimate. The reason is that the oil prices have been at a free fall. $20 per barrel is something which some of the economies cannot even extract. So it's going to affect revenue coffers of the government, and the circular flow in the Gulf economies come from the government to the private sector through the contracts of projects. And most of the projects are manned, or the labor components are contributed by the non-residents, by the expatriates, and that's going to suffer. And having done that, we are going to see that there will be a return. Estimates are that approximately 15 lakh people may come back to India. Of these, 3 lakh people may come back to Kerala. I'm talking about those who are employed there. So we are looking for about 15 lakh people coming back with job losses in a phased manner, maybe by September or so. Take an example, the civil aviation, travel, tourism industry of UAE. Most important, UAE grew up on a tourism destination philosophy. Aviation, Etihad Airlines, Emirates Airline, hub. It was for international traffic, to go air traffic, to go to USA, to go to Europe, to go to the East, to go to Australia, we used Abu Dhabi or Dubai. That's not going to happen. Dubai, UAE may see up to 23 million passengers minus figure this year. That means that we are going to see, according to Standard & Poor, 30% of the global traffic, air passengers, will be less this year. Salary cuts have already been effected in that industry. And stimulus packages have been given by governments. But that is not really going to my mind, going to be very productive for expatriates. Rating agencies like Moody's have downgraded the banking systems there. They have changed the outlook from negative to negative, from being stable. All economies, all 6 economies are now negative, treated as negative outlook. That means that the risk premium, those of you who are doing business in the Gulf are going to see that there is a problem of getting funding, liquidity constraints, already on the back of big names failing. You're going to see the impact, the differential impacting will be more on the smaller borrowers. And therefore, the small businessmen there are going to be severely hit. Aggregate demand would have come down because these small borrowers depend on the migrant laborers for their demand, and they are returning. And your jobs of those who are in the upper income groups are all going to be lost, because the revolving door policy, where they will remove the bigger employed, bigger salaried ones and re-employ, perhaps from India itself, but at the lower scales. So therefore, we are going to see quite a bit of drop in foreign exchange. World Bank sees that up to 23% shortfall may be there. Their estimate is that only 64 billion will come this year. Last year, 83 billion came in. So you're going to see. But then you're going to see a lot of non-residents coming back to their home country. Flight to quality is to whom? Some of you, those who are coming back, are thinking of currency. Where do I put the currency? Remember, most of you, except perhaps Kuwait, all of you are linked to the dollar. The dollar is a stable currency. Whenever there has been a flight to value, flight to quality, it has been the dollar, it has been the Swiss franc, and it has been the Japanese yen, which have been at the forefront of the attractiveness. Gold is also an attractive investment avenue, but that's for the wealthier. But those of you who are searching jobs, you need to be realistic. In India, there are 119 million jobs lost just in the 2 weeks after lockdown was declared. And that is the report of the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. There is reportedly a 23% job unemployment figure in the formal sector. They expect that up to 195 million people may lose jobs in the informal sector by September. That being so, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. And therefore, I request you to rethink your strategies, rework your efforts to positive. Possibly, instead of searching for a job, look whether you can be self-employed. Look for regional, which are the sectors which I should be in? And that you'll have to think cautiously. Don't waste your money. Don't invest somewhere where you don't have wherewithal. If you don't have wherewithal, get a friend whom you know well enough, possibly an expat himself, who is able to support you. Cluster economics works very well. When I say cluster economics, I mean a group of people working together, one having expertise in one area, the other having expertise in another area, so that you are mutually complementing, not competing with each other, and that you are not alone. Look to global supply chains. In the few years I have been in the Gulf, I have always been impressed by the logistics of the Gulf supply chain. Nobody in India perhaps has that much expertise as you have. Try to build on that. You can go on to the global, but first regional supply chains. India is a great supplier to the Gulf, and that itself you could leverage on. Look for global platforms eventually. Look for sophisticated, those of you who are engineers, etc., look for sophisticated, or computer specialists, look for sophisticated technologies such as 5G, robotics, Internet of Things, and blockchain. These are the things that India is now working on. Look for e-commerce logistics, helps considerably you can outstrip competition in these areas. Build a more sophisticated supply chain ecosystem. Over a few years, it takes time. Be prepared for a haul. There is an online industry already. You can place yourself in there. The online retail industry in India is supposed to be at $60 billion, and it is going to grow because of the psychological impact of the lockdown, where people have got used to ordering online. Even in lower income groups have started thinking in terms of ordering online. We are going to see the growth there. Health industry is one area where you should think of. Pharma, medical goods, suppliers, hospital items, food processing industry is another area. Data modeling, analytical studies, business analysts. Those of you who have done MBAs, those of you who have done some sort of, say, work on spreadsheets, data modeling, get yourself equipment, get on to online learning, get yourself onto data modeling, create digital solutions. India's requirements will be on mental health, sociology, support. You have just seen that people have been under pressure during the lockdown. A large chunk of the Kerala population, for example, is under pressure from the alcoholism among family members. So we need to support them. Social Geriatric care is one area where you could really need a lower cost based model can be worked out. I would like to request you to think in terms of what the Chinese call as economic gardening. What is that? What is economic gardening? Grassroots entrepreneurship that drives growth in the economy. Nurture entrepreneurship in your area. Know your long term potential and value. Introspect. Ask yourself, what am I good at? How can I develop over a period of time? Don't expect support from out here. Institutions are there. But before that, you must have a proposal for yourself, a reorientation of what is happening back here. Get in touch with those institutions which can support you even while you are there. And remember, cluster economics works better. Software parks are better than individual units. So try to smuggle yourself in there. Try to get into self-help groups of expatriates. Think of new business model. Think unconventionally, but think with caution. Think risk. What are the risk factors? Don't invest money unnecessarily. A lot of people might come to you and say, "Do you have money? We will give you a return." All that don't believe. Believe in yourself and think risk all the time. Your best brain risk is the least. So try to put in less money, more of your brain activity. When Zara had a problem with fashion industry going down under COVID, they switched to masks. So think unconventional, think different, think the new business models. I am aware that you are a little mentally hurt now. You are psychologically upset. You are under physically some pressure because of the anxieties of the COVID. And these two will also reflect on the economic front because your incomes are going to be less, at least for some time. But together we can. And remember that there are a lot of institutions in India that help entrepreneurs. Look institutionally and think carefully, work out good proposals, think together, and then come forth with the result. I wish you all the best. Thank you.